Have you ever stopped to think about what a world without trees would actually look like? I mean, really think about it. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But the scary thing is, it's a future we're kind of building right now. So today, let's pull back the curtain and really dig into the true cost, the stuff you don't always hear about, of losing our forests. I mean, just look at this. It's so easy to see this and just think, oh, that's a bunch of trees. But it's so much more than that. We're talking about these incredible, living, breathing ecosystems. They're basically the planet's air conditioning, right? They're home to literally millions of species. And right now, they're in trouble. Big trouble. So how big is this problem? Well, get ready for this number. 8 million. That's 8 million hectares of forest gone every single year. I mean, that's a scale of destruction it's just hard to even wrap your head around, you know? And it's not random. It's being driven by a few very specific things that we're doing. Okay, so what's actually causing all of this? To really understand the impact, we've got to look at the why first. Let's get into it. All right, so this here gives us a pretty clear picture of what's driving all this forest clearing. You can see there are a few different things going on, but really a couple of key activities are responsible for almost all of it. Okay, let's really dive into these numbers because they tell a heck of a story. When you put it all together, a whopping 80%, yeah, 80 of all deforestation is because of one thing, agriculture. And what's the single biggest piece of that pie? A massive 40% is just clearing land for livestock to graze. Think about that. So the second those trees are gone, the dominoes start to fall. And we're talking about immediate, on-the-ground effects that kick off a chain reaction, a much bigger and, honestly, a much more dangerous one. And here's the very first domino, habitat loss. It's instant. You know, you picture a place like the Amazon rainforest, just buzzing with life, right? Well, when we clear-cut a forest, we're not just removing trees. We're literally serving an eviction notice to millions of species, from the big guys like jaguars all the way down to insects we haven't even discovered yet. It's a huge driver of the biodiversity crisis. And this here shows you exactly what happens next. And it's devastating. See, a healthy forest is basically like a giant sponge. The tree roots are this incredible network holding all the soil together. But what happens when you take away the trees? The soil is just left naked, exposed. So when the rains come, there's nothing to stop them. They just wash away all that good, nutrient-rich topsoil. And that process has a name, desertification. You're turning rich land into barren desert.
Hey, do you like this content? Did you learn something new today? Then don't forget to make a donation so we can continue creating more content like this. In the description, you'll find a link to make your donation. Thank you.
All right, so let's pull the camera back. Let's zoom out, because this isn't just a local problem anymore. What starts with losing a bit of soil, well, it quickly blows up into a massive crisis that messes with the climate of the entire planet. You see, forests have this incredibly important two-part job when it comes to climate. On one hand, they're like these giant carbon sinks, literally sucking CO2 out of the atmosphere. But when we cut them down, the whole thing goes into reverse. All that carbon the trees have been storing for decades, sometimes centuries, it gets released right back into the air when they're burned or just left to rot. So it's a total double whammy. We lose one of our best tools for fighting climate change, and we release a whole bunch more pollution at the same time. And that carbon dioxide, that's a greenhouse gas. And here's the simple way to think about it. These gases act like a blanket wrapped around the earth, trapping heat. The more CO2 we pump out from, cutting down forests, the thicker that blanket gets, and the warmer the planet becomes. But, okay, let's move beyond the climate for a second. There's another consequence here, one that's a little less obvious, but in some ways, it might be even more permanent. We're talking about losing a library of information that we can never get back. Okay, just think about the food you eat every day. For something like 10,000 years, humanity has been picking the best plants, saving the seeds, and getting better and better crops. And it's worked. I mean, our modern wheat, rice, corn, they're super productive. But there's a catch. We've made them all very, very similar. They've lost that incredible genetic diversity, that toughness, that their wild cousins still have. So here's the million-dollar question. What happens when a new disease pops up that our modern crops can't fight? Or what do we do when the climate gets too hot or too dry for them to grow? Well, the answer, the solution, is often hidden in the genes of their wild relatives, the plants that have genes for drought resistance or for fighting off pests. And where do those wild plants live? You guessed it, in the very forests we are clearing. We are literally burning the library down before we've even had a chance to read the books that could save us.
And all of this really leads us to one final and maybe the most important question of all.
So when you boil it all down, it's a trade-off, isn't it? When we clear a forest, we get something we can measure right away, more land for crops or for cattle to graze. But what are we trading away? We're trading a stable climate. We're trading away fertile soil. We're giving up an untold amount of biodiversity and a genetic library full of secrets that could be key to our future. And so the real question we have to ask ourselves is the price we're paying really worth it?
Hey, do you like this content? Did you learn something new today? Then don't forget to make a donation so we can continue creating more content like this. In the description, you'll find a link to make your donation. Thank you.